So, the band batch is corralled, plus Ender. We're corralled to watch the Acolyte premiere and Anakin.
Woo.
We're gonna watch the Acolyte premiere. I haven't seen any trailers even.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
No spoilers.
I've seen all the trailers.
Me neither.
Well, I've seen one.
I've listened through every still image.
So how excited is everyone?
Woo! Woo!
Woo! I'm
Yeah, this is
excited.
also the first time we've ever all watched
Watched
a
this-
brand new Star Wars thing all
in this
Yeah.
group together, except for
Yes,
Obi-Wan.
this is our first social gathering of this nation.
It is. It is.
Come here, kitty.
Although before,
Come on, Anakin.
we did see Obi-Wan together.
That's true. We
But
did.
Jimmy
But it was
wasn't
like-
here.
No, we
No, you weren't.
we saw you
No,
weren't here.
I wasn't here.
You were dead.
We saw Obi-Wan. We saw Obi-Wan in the hotel room.
Uh-huh.
No, we saw Obi-Wan at Star Wars Celebration, and then again at the.
And then we
in-
went back to
in
the hotel room
room.
and we watched it again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
Oh,
awesome.
right.
So we're not gonna film a reaction video because we want to just have a normal watching experience, and 'cause I'm not interesting. Everyone else is very interesting though. But yeah. Let's see how this goes.
I feel like Xanthe's the most.
I just we're the boring one.
I feel like Xanthe's usually the most interesting person.
That's well. Do you mean entertaining because you have things to laugh at?
No,
And
No,
necessarily.
no, interesting.
Not necessarily.
Interesting.
Interesting.
And the other one, but interesting.
Both of them.
Yes. Which makes you
It's
interesting.
fine. Oh, I just watched Acolyte first 2 episodes. And I thought it was pretty good.
I'm
Yeah.
enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
Me too.
Good. Enjoy it so far.
Enjoying it.
Good
And the music. Yeah, what about the music?
There's a lot
It's a
of
real orchestra or
it's a real
something.
orchestra. There's a lot of nods to very old Star Wars sounding music, like from the original trilogy and the
Mhm.
prequel trilogy.
Yeah,
definitely.
prequel trilogy stuff. in
Phantom
there for
Menace.
Yeah.
It's got like multiple orchestral textures,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like in each piece.
There's no like those drums that go like.
No.
Big impact.
They
no
have.
Zimmer
They
drum.
have. There's actually in this episode there are some bigger sounding drums that sound either like Teco drums or Chinese tom-toms or something like that, but they're not like, they don't sound like your standard like stock cinematic giant storm drums, you know.
Yeah.
So
I'm digging the creature design a lot.
Yeah, lots
The
of
creature
fun
design is pretty solid, and Pip. I want a Pip. It's a Pip, the little droid tablet thing. That you're
Yeah,
carrying
so
around. Pip.
cool.
I feel like
Pip,
if
Pip.
you claimed yourself as being like Pip, and I think that was on point.
Yep.
I feel it's good.
I like so.
So
There was
Bunta's a poison? Like Bunta Eve?
yeah, that's what I was curious about. I was wondering if there's any connection or if there's just like it was a coincidence.
We'll have to recheck with subtitles.
It's the same. Sorry. Boot.
Did you notice any recurring themes, like musical themes? I
Hard
did.
to pick
noticed.
it out when I first.
I noticed like a descending like violin tremolo thing, or like some. But I couldn't. Yeah.
And there's some arpeggiated parts that seem to happen multiple times in this
Mhm.
episode that's reminding me of a theme from I want to say it's a prequel movie. It feels
Probably
like
Attack of the Clones.
it feels like it might be
Yeah.
from
Mystery
You
one.
know where it's like modulating, like
Yeah.
the Camino, the mystery.
Yeah, there's a
Also
moment.
an
I have to go
octo.
and listen back,
It's
but
like.
I think it was a clear reference. On
And
purpose.
there was the Coruscant reference, I think, that
The
you
Coruscant,
picked
yeah,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
hearing. There's
Yeah.
Coruscant, and then the main title sequence. We don't hear that theme throughout the show, but it's also very close to Kylo Ren's theme.
Yeah. It also sounds similar to
Yeah.
Morgan Elsbeth.
Morgan Elsbeth's.
Theme.
Huh?
And then there was like in the first episode, there's like maybe it was second episode. No, the first episode, like a hint of the Force theme, but then it didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good music, but I have to say that there isn't any like super in your face strong motifs like that are like singable. You know what I mean? Like I can't sing anything right now. Like, you know, we walk away from Andor, and like we can all sing that theme like a million times, right? Like just the main theme.
But the first time I watched like The Force Awakens, because a lot of the themes were more subtle in their shape, it was harder for me to hum things. Listening to it, seeing it multiple times, listening to it multiple times, eventually those all became like, oh yeah, I definitely recognize those and I can pick them out every time they come up.
I don't know if I had that experience. I feel like I came away with those.
Yeah,
with
I did come away with it from The Force Awakens with really clear some themes. But the thing is, I would much rather a show do very competent like underscore than have like stellar themes and just really cheesy and
for sure.
And so the music is not distracting.
It's more just an approach. Like it didn't come in swinging with like big John Williams style types of like big old theme songs, you know.
And there are moments where like the music gets dramatic in a really good way that doesn't like in the first episode when she's going down, this stuff's going down with this ship and whatever, and the music kind of opens up, like it gets dramatic but not like in the just making it more, which is
you mentioned I forget what you said, but something like quality underscoring or something like that. And I think the two things that I think most about the overall soundtrack were that it was elegant. Like it was tasteful, it was elegant, there were no cheap tricks, especially with percussion, you know, just
or like bringing in like a quote unquote exotic instrument or something.
Totally. And then it was also really warm. I think the sounds were very warm overall. I don't want to go so far as to say romantic level warm, just like tasteful warm. And and that also includes the harmonic choices that were made. Like
the harmonies?
Yeah, I guess them having a little more, shall we say, texture due to being a little more dissonant than sometimes.
The spice.
That
a little more spice.
And the end credits music for the first episode I really liked. It had some angular, like, you know, Prokofiev.
There's a lot of that in this, especially because there's so much like fighting going on. There's a lot of like action cues.
There's a thing. There has also been a couple of times during dialogue scenes with underscore where I actually felt like the music was mixed too low because I really wanted to hear what was going on. Like I'm going to be really interested to hear the album release of this, because just to hear everything that's going on.
For sure.
Absolutely.
It'd be nice with headphones as well.
Also, I like that it's a kung fu show. Like it's a martial arts show.
Love a kung fu movie.
And
fighting's really good.
And like the fighting styles, even with lightsabers and with the Force, is doing more things that remind me of how things look, like the wire work of
Crouching Tiger.
Basically that
Yeah.
era, like the way that clothing drapes and the way that it seems fit to that.
Well, yeah, the opening scene is a clear homage to the classic like 2-story tea house setting of like they're fighting on the first floor and all of a sudden they bring it up to the second floor, right? And I also, it seems like there's some type of, we're gonna find more about this villain, but there seems to be some type of value, because they've mentioned now twice or so, like, hey, did you kill him without a weapon? Like, there's some type of value of like beating a Jedi without a weapon, which is kind of interesting because the villain has flashed a red lightsaber.
The master has tasked her with killing 4 Jedi in different ways. Do you think that's how it is?
Is that what she? Is that what was the deal?
Like maybe like 4 challenges. Like 1, you can't use a weapon. One of them,
something old, something new, something bold.
Exactly. It's a prenuptial agreement, no, pre-marital agreement.
That's right.
Prenuptials are different.
Who do you think the other 2 Jedi are? Do you think one of them is the masked? Like,
Which they said, didn't they? They said
the
the Wookiee
Jedi
Jedi is one of them, and then
the meditating
Soul,
Jedi,
and then
Soul's one of them.
That's what what's her name thinks.
Because
Osha
had said to him, he said, "Hey, don't you know there's 4 Jedi she wants to kill? There's Trinity from the Matrix. There's
Oh, is that who that was?
and there's
No.
Is that actually?
yeah.
Yeah,
It really
actually.
was.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she looked familiar.
Yeah, so
she had such a good
what's her name?
walk.
Carrie Ann Moss, right?
I also
Yeah.
thought she looked like a young McGonagall.
Well, I was gonna say,
So-
Yeah.
Who were the four? It was her. It was the Wookiee Jedi. It was Soul, and then
And
there
it was the
Oh, the one-
meditating guy.
it was
the
a
meditating
lot.
guy.
It's been a
The
lot.
of silence.
Are we supposed to be under the understanding that he's been meditating for 10 years?
Yeah.
That is a thing.
That is like a-
What's does he have? Does a force keep his beard like at a reasonable
I don't know, but
length?
it's a
Or-
hard
It's a
public
thing,
thing.
yeah.
They get a couple of Babu fricks in there to.
Is it, yeah, that's
Let's
point,
not
like,
use
it's so hard to get
Marius
into
for
the
that.
bubble.
You know, it feels like there's a couple cultures where, like, if you do something dishonorable enough, you have to, like, cut your top knot if you're in the Avatar universe, or
Okay.
if you're a firebender, or, like, committing, like, Agni Kai, sort of, but,
Yeah.
like, as a Jedi. You're like, I don't need to be alive anymore for, like...
Right. So he's clearly doing this out of some type of exile, but I still
doesn't
don't
have
understand
to.
why his
It's
beard
like
isn't like
penance.
down to the store.
I think they
to the
maybe
floor.
Maybe you just don't age.
So they come in there and they're
It's
like,
not
and they like whisper to the person like, "Can we just sneak in and like trim you for a second?" Then he lets them in.
No,
like,
if you're
for a little-
powerful enough in the Force, you can
control your appearance.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I just suspend my
Ladder,
belief. I did.
yeah.
You use the midichlorians for that.
Yeah, okay, I see. Got it. I wanted a little bit more from his performance. I gotta say. I'm just gonna go out and say
The
that.
one line.
We've had our
One
glows
line,
and
yeah.
our grows so far. We've given a lot of glows. I give him a grow, which is I wanted more like
Glow and grow.
What
yeah.
the hell?
That's the teacher. I'm gonna
Yes.
use that.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
So yeah, I wanted him to be a little bit more dramatic. I think because he's like I'll take the poison.
I've been waiting.
I thought it was a good.
I thought it was good.
You guys liked it?
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe
I would
I wanted him to be like
more from the character.
I wanted him to like sell it, you know?
No, I would have liked more from the character because I think it was an interesting
It was
concept
super
for a
interesting.
character.
Maybe we'll get a
But-
flashback. or
But
something.
I'm content with
With
his
the
performance itself.
I thought she was gonna find a way to like force it through or something like that, and he.
Well, I mean,
ended up
But I
just-
think what happened was much more interesting.
Yeah, I
definitely.
think-
Like,
definitely.
And from a storytelling perspective, it was a really good choice for
Right.
that to be how
yeah,
it went because now I'm like, I need to know what happened.
yeah.
He
Well,
also
it's-
gave her a chance to, like, not be so dark-sidey in just accepting the poison and not attacking.
That's true.
Oh, that's good.
It's like
So-
that glimmer of hope.
Our understanding so far is that, or at least like what they've told us so far, is that there was a terrible fire that killed her whole family, and the Jedi,
And
The
Mary
sister
started it.
instigated
May.
Yeah.
and then the Jedi just like what we know so far, we could assume without knowing any other details, right? Is that the Jedi just didn't do a good enough job of saving them. And
Yeah,
that's
something
what
like
we
that.
can assume, but maybe there's some other twist that they might
But
have.
for some reason, May thinks that Osha is dead,
Right.
just like Osha thought that May was dead.
Right. And do we think this guy would kill himself after 10 years because he just didn't supervise it very well? But maybe he has some
I
nefarious...
think
He
I
may
think-
have made a choice.
I think it's a
Yeah.
choice.
He may
There's
have made a
something
choice to
happened,
save
yeah.
him.
It's you have to make a choice. Like, which one do you save? You're standing on this side. You can't really see the other
Right.
one.
Yeah,
And you're like, I sacrificed.
And one of us, like one hand is like keeping his beard at the length that he wants.
Yeah,
You can't
right.
save both of them.
Well, what's interesting though is that he said, been waiting for you, May," so he knew she was still alive, and everyone else
Right.
thought
Yeah.
that she was the dead one.
actually that's true.
I'm curious
He's
about
the only
his
person who
top
knew.
thing that I
Right, because I was curious, like in Dara, in Dara, right? Not
Yes.
Indira Stokes.
Oh,
Indara,
Indara.
Indara, the
Indara.
Jedi Master
that's
who got
really
killed in the
Yes.
intro, Trinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
If we gotta say grow, glow, here's my woe.
right.
Is
that
it
was
woe? Oh,
curious
yeah,
about that.
woe.
My only woe so far is that we killed off Carrie Ann Moss in
Oh.
the first 10 minutes.
Is
of
that
the show.
W-O-E-W-O or W-O-A-H-W-O?
I wanted to see more.
It's a W-O-E.
Okay.
And then I'll find a W-O-A-H.
But wait, but Indara thought that May was
Yeah.
Osha.
Yes, I believe so.
No.
I think another thing we learned from this is that the Nemoidians maybe the Trade Federation Nemoidians
Trade Feds.
had a very
Yes.
specific regional accent, and that is not species wide.
Which I like. I'm
I
glad
love
that
the
it's
fans
fans
fine.
in the
Yeah.
I loved that we got to see a different
and
perspective
a lady
of them.
and a lady Nemoidian.
I thought we
Yeah,
had.
and they
have
look
seen those.
great.
Like,
They look
They
great.
more-
They don't look
Okay.
They're
like
more
cheap.
unified in their
More,
looks.
They
being,
have
I
more
suppose,
articulation.
Yeah.
Their mouths
Well,
still
yeah,
don't move, but
that's
their
the Stick
words don't.
Scanlan coming back to do more
Yeah,
to
Neil Scanlan.
I love.
do the masks.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
I love that the Nemoidians, like the 2 times we've really seen them, they have somebody, a Jedi boarding their ship, and they're just trying to lie to them. Like
Yeah.
that's what they do. Like
Like-
they're just never up to any good. It seems, you know. They're
Well,
so are they trying to save money on droids? Is that what the deal was?
Yes,
Okay.
Oh,
yes.
that's
The
true.
deal is absolutely that they are, that they are
They're cheaping out on the Republic.
and literally doing an OSHA violation.
Yeah. Exactly.
Funny.
That's right.
Speaking of organizations that are very large, I really love that this show's like institution that we get to criticize is the Jedi Order.
Yeah,
We get to see
they
how
really feel like cops.
and
Yeah, like,
there
what's
are
up
so
with
many
the-
Well,
people
superheroes.
that
What was
like
it
The
that.
show is not
Cape.
very ACAB on the.
This is great.
on the-
It's
on
like the first
Jedi.
thing that made it through their like
That's how High Republic
century.
is.
Yeah.
You're kind of supposed to embrace. I mean, there's somewhat of a there's like a police state vibes going on.
Right.
So you walk in, they get you to confess without your
Yeah.
consent. They
Like-
they got
And-
floating, terrifying dystopian like floodlight cars on you.
And at this point, I'm hoping that is the intended
Purposeful.
direction of the show is that because we're seeing a lot of that, and also we're seeing Jedi who are willing to kill themselves because of a past thing rather than confess to the Jedi Order about what happened.
Right.
And that's very Code of Silence.
Interesting.
Yes,
sort
and you
of
saw
shape.
a little bit of like, and then they must be going that because I feel like any dialogue that they write has to be for. I mean, unless it's just bad dialogue, but there should be a purpose and it should be efficient. In that first episode, for Nestra, which is awesome that they
Yeah.
have a book character.
Can't
in
wait
there.
to see her light whip.
Yeah, I hope that I hope that she actually gets to use it. But she makes that comment about like, our political enemies
Yeah.
will be and we're like, whoa, that's not how the Jedi
That's right.
are supposed to be, you know?
Right.
So
And
What's the shirtless guy's name?
Yord.
Bimbo or Himbo Jedi. I'm calling him.
Himbo boy?
Did you say Yord?
Yord. He's.
How did you
Word?
catch all these names?
Word?
I wrote it
Those
down. I wrote it
words.
Oh,
down.
like, oh, that's amazing. I literally can never do that.
No.
when I watch a show.
If I write them down, I might know them later.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's-
me too.
that's-
I
that's
reckon the names
useful.
of the places.
That's
He
useful.
really and him and the flashy yellow tunic really go
super
together.
suits.
They're
The cape,
yellow.
He's,
And, like,
he's
They're
from
really feel good
Russian
about
Doll,
themselves as an
which is the
organ.
other show that
Leslie
that
Headland.
Leslie Headland.
Yeah.
Well, but he like the way that they're interacting with each other, the Jedi. It's very like it feels even more. I feel even more subservience. Like I feel. Didn't he apologize for doing something? Like I don't know. Just the
I
way
will
it came
redeem
off.
myself for.
Yeah, it seemed like really extreme, like the "I will redeem myself" thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even
Jeez.
like Soul's Padawan had to keep
Yeah.
saying, "Can I speak? Is
Oh,
it
can I-
okay if
permission to speak freely?"
And he's like, "You can stop. It's all good." Which is interesting because we're also seeing, despite all the subservience and like more order to the order.
Right, like because
We're-
she's like policing her master. Like,
Exactly. Soul is the one that's apparently having a hard time with attachments and stuff like
yeah,
that.
she's like,
Right, he's being a real Qui-Gon.
Yep.
yeah.
Real quiet on that guy.
So interesting. And
I like also that, like you said about it either being bad dialogue or it's there for something.
yeah.
I felt like most of this dialogue feels like it is here for something, like tons of things where it's like I actually leaned over partway through and whispered to Xanthe, that feels like a thesis.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
like that they are making arguments already that will then be
Yeah.
picked
Yeah.
at over
And
the course of this.
Leslie Headland wrote this thing? Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I bet. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like,
I bet it's all
yeah,
for a reason.
it's scaffolding to the prequels, and
Oh yeah, speaking of, OSHA was an 8-year-old with attachments,
Right.
and they made the call. Okay, yes, we'll let her be trained.
By the time
And
Anakin comes
By
around,
the time
they've
Anakin
seen
comes
this
around, they have a
before.
9-year-old with attachment issues.
Yeah. And they're not.
And they're like,
And they're like,
no.
Mace was like, nope,
Speaking
not
of Mace
again.
Windu, like Vernestra at the beginning was reminding me of Mace Windu.
Yeah, that's true. And then also, speaking of which, I just realized that Yoda's probably in the show, right?
Probably.
Right.
And Yodel Yaddle.
Unless he's away on. No, he's
Yeah.
not away.
I don't think he's away.
Yeah.
There's a brief time where he's away.
Obviously he's in the High Republic era, so
Yeah, he's there.
Young
Yeah.
Yoda.
He's
I-
still not young.
not even very
He's
young.
he's already like old Master Yoda.
Yeah.
This would be 700-year-old Yoda. So
Oh,
like
okay.
you're not gonna see the
Not
difference.
50-year-old Grogu.
Right.
Right.
There's no way.
I mean, the whole gestation period or the growth period kind of breaks down on itself anyway. But with how the fact that he's still like basically an infant after 50 years, that doesn't really.
Yeah.
line
Then you
up.
reach 100 years old, and then you're
And
a preteen.
and then you're a preteen.
Yeah.
But still, like, just like, what is it? Okay, we're gonna go about to go down a Grogu math wormhole. We probably should. I mean, I should probably keep us from jumping down it. But naked, angry Wookiee Jedi. He seems interesting. Again, I think it's.
Yeah.
I just
I
find
thought-
it's funny to me that Wookiees are still angry and ferocious even when they're peaceful Jedis. You know, like they're still like.
I don't know.
yelling at
I think if somebody pulled a gun on you, you're allowed to yell at them and say,
people.
clear off and break their gun. in
It
half.
felt very much like a Shrek going, "Get out of my swamp" kind of a thing.
Yes, this is a Wookiee with Shrek energy.
Yeah,
He's got
exactly.
Shrek
Get out of my
energy, for
swamp
sure.
and from.
That's fun.
I'm surprised no one's made an Omega Olega conspiracy theory
Okay.
yet.
Well, we've already had Karlak, which doesn't have
Karlak,
a Sarlacc.
Yeah. What were the
Omega,
other? Do you
Omega.
think that's Ashto that they were on?
Octo?
Yeah. Oh, the bad guy.
I guess it's a possibility.
It looked
It's
like it.
It's technically that would
Technically, the island existed.
and
But with the temple
and
existed?
like if Luke got there 200 years later, or 150 years later, it's very possible that he also cleared out the skeleton of this of this weird
Right.
Sith guy.
I wonder who he is. I'm so curious. Do you think he's a Sith, or do you think he's just
He kind of had both a Kylo Ren voice
yeah?
and a Kylo Ren helmet shape.
No, the big rumor.
He's a Knight of Ren.
Maybe right.
I mean, he
cool.
could be
Do we
right.
connect him?
Wouldn't it be
Like,
nice if we
big
finally got some
Ren.
backstory of the Knight of Ren and it's in this show?
I'd be happy for it.
To Marchion Rome.
Would you suggest?
Do we connect him to the masked voice Nihil? But not the Nihil, but the predecessors of the Nihil. The ones
Yeah,
in
the-
between Path of Deceit.
The
And Nihil.
path of the closed fist. The path
Exactly,
of the
this
open
guy.
hand.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
When was
I was
Plagius?
wondering if the Wookiees
Around-
were Yaga.
That's
So-
been the rumor, which I know is
Oh,
probably
so
not
nice.
lining up. But when was Plagius?
Right. So Plagueis. Okay, so we're 100 years before episode 1.
Yes.
That means that Palpatine will be born in like
A few decades.
60 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
So send
Plagueis
Naboo.
could be alive,
Hmm.
or
Or this is
Nice.
but I don't know
Plagueis.
how long.
Or like this is like
Yeah.
I'm very
Sith
curious
kind of
about
a
Darth
thing.
Plagueis.
It would be interesting.
Right.
if
This
it
could
was a
be
Ren.
this could be Plagueis's master.
Yeah.
Bane. Wait,
No,
it,
that
it
was
couldn't
a
have been Bane Plagueis, was it?
I can't remember.
No.
No, it's Plagueis, and then his master's a Bith, right?
Yeah, I think you're right because
That's
because
funny.
somebody thought it would be funny to
Yeah.
have a Sith bit.
Sith
Yeah.
It's so
Bith.
stupid that they did that.
Yeah.
But it's also awesome. That'd be cool if it's Plagueis. I mean, part what's blowing my mind about the show, and I guess it goes somewhat without saying, but it's also fun to say it, which is just how it's remarkably removed. And I mean, again, it's so obvious. It's like the whole thing about this show. Everyone's been commenting, but it's kind of wild that this show exists because it really is just resting on it living in the Star Wars universe and it having Jedi in it and aliens that you recognize and nothing else. And this, I would say that this is, regardless in my mind, like of what it does, like story-wise or anything like that, or anything, is the most ambitious Star Wars project because like literally it's kind of wild that we've gone since 2014 or 15, 10 years, and they finally for the first time made a show, a piece of visual video media other than Visions. I won't count Visions, that is like just straight up like has no point of connection to the canon. Like in that way, you know what I mean?
That we know yet, but
to the general public, I guess, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Obviously, it has all kinds of things that it's got.
But they
in there,
stated that they wanted this show to be, if you didn't know anything about Star Wars,
Yes.
you could still enjoy the show.
But
That was the goal of theirs.
And I say that in the context of a conversation around Plagueis, because as soon as you throw Plagueis in there, all of a sudden you've got a hook, and that might be something. I mean, I'm very curious about like the whole production process of this show because it's kind of such a risk, you know.
And because it is drawing from the books, you know, like in terms of aesthetic and some characters that are book specific. It's also kind of really interesting to like. I'd like to know like what kind of conversations they had with the authors, I guess. Maybe about like, okay, how are we want to use these characters in this way in this show that's set after all of the books that have been written so far.
Right?
Probably no conversation, to be honest.
Yeah, probably not.
They probably said no, don't read the books, don't do anything. Here's the
Read the
characters.
books.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were told like, here's the general idea, don't actually read them, do your thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would not be
There
surprised if
aren't
that
really
was the
that
case.
many characters.
Well, yeah, but you do have to say like, okay, Vernestra doesn't die, right? In your next 4 books that you've got planned out,
for sure.
you
Right.
know?
Right, those kinds of basics and things like that. But I'm sure they would take the opportunity to retcon something just because they can.
You know what I've been enjoying? I know that you don't play video games yet.
Yeah.
But this phenomenon happens when you play video games where for like a long period of like lots of a particular game is where you like go out into the real world and you have to like readjust, like not be thinking about the game, or you'll go to bed and you'll be like playing the game in your
It's known as the Tetris effect.
Yes, okay.
I've done the going, like I'll go to bed and be playing Scrabble.
Yeah, okay. So I've been playing Jedi Fallen Order, and it was kind of wild because I've been playing it very recently, and this show aesthetically, obviously it's Star Wars aesthetic, but it like specifically within Fallen Order, like the cities and the things it looked like I was watching a show of Jedi Fallen Order, which I very much enjoyed. And I'm not gonna. Don't worry, I'm not spoiling anything for the game or anything like that. But there's second game has a bunch of High Republic shit in it, so which is really cool.
What era?
Well, it's
set later,
but he's exploring like ruins from the High Republic era, basically.
Oh, I see.
Is what happens, and so it's cool to see. And also the droid design, which I noticed. Did you notice how the droids are seemingly scaled down in terms of like chronologically? They seem like older type of more retro droids.
Yeah.
and not luxury ones.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
But like protocol droids are shiny and luxury items.
Yeah,
right?
that.
But like the ships for the prison barge, or the pilots for the prison barge are not luxury.
No.
Well,
They're
even
seats.
the prison bot itself had that very much like 1960s retro spaceman look.
Yeah,
Thing,
and
which
what
is
if-
cool.
Right, totally. And one of the key parts of that are being non-universalized. Like the tech is super back home, garage, neighborhood, city.
Yeah.
Not very like, the typical R2. Even I feel like we're not even seeing like R2 units.
Right?
Really.
Right.
In fact, R2, not so many Rs.
Right.
I don't know, but
Does anybody else have opinions about the lightsaber hilts?
Oh, I didn't.
You didn't notice.
I didn't
They're
really.
longer,
Oh,
aren't
what Souls was like kind of thinner than
They look longer. Yeah.
maybe. I couldn't. No, I can't.
My sense was that they were all very, very thick.
Like big old.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was an aesthetical
sticks.
choice.
I didn't notice that. In fact, like I said, I feel like when I saw Souls, it was like a thin metal, like not thin, but like
Right.
thinner metal, like grippier thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we
I'd
are
have to go
going to
watch
see
again.
some cool lightsabers. That the light whip has absolutely been confirmed and shown.
Oh.
For those that see the trailers.
But we haven't though.
But we have.
So you just spoiled that for me.
Well,
For me,
okay.
you just spoiled that because
Yeah,
I didn't
for me.
know that.
That's true.
Me too.
I apologize about that, but assuming the character's in there, you could rightfully assume that you're going to see something like that.
Yeah, just like when Yoda was in the Phantom Menace, and,
Yeah.
and he pulled out his lightsaber.
Yeah. In Phantom Menace.
Back to it.
I'm being
He's
sarcastic.
I know.
Yeah. But
So, yeah, it was like the tech was interesting. What about the video camera? First time ever seen in my memory.
Oh,
somebody-
yeah.
somebody used
Actual
a video
recording.
Oh
Like-
yeah, that was funny.
if it weren't for like the laughter of some of us watching, I don't know who exactly was laughing. I don't think I would have caught on to the comedy of that character.
Mm.
Right?
Like
Oh,
he
interesting.
seemed funnier to me because like I heard laughter.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of like.
I was
There wasn't a lot of-
totally
You thought he was
losing
funny.
at one of them. I was like, you have to be kidding me. Oh my god.
Yeah,
How funny.
yeah.
He's doing that. He's that guy. Like,
Right.
because there is this stereotype, young adolescent Jedi who's just like, I will go in, Master. I will save them. I am the one who will walk in. We will immediately arrest the imposters. And it's just like, oh my gosh, you've been trained so hard and you're like, don't know anything about the world. And you'll find out one day. But, that's just a funny thing. It's a cute thing.
Yeah.
Coming of age thing. Like, he'll experience maturing over the course.
Okay, so you
But
saw it
he
as
gets
like an
laughter.
immature thing.
He gets laughter.
I'll
now.
say this, it kind of, it doesn't, like now that I think about it, it reminds me of like King of the Hill comedy. I don't know if you've seen this show.
Yes.
But King of the Hill doesn't have like a whole lot of like, doesn't have a huge amount of like haha jokes just like written into it necessarily. It's like the situations and the characters are just kind of funny. And that's what's funny
Is it
about that
funny
show.
now?
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't think so. I'm just describing how other people describe the show. I actually don't find King of the Hill very funny, but like people find it funny because of the characters. But it's not like The Simpsons where it's like, or Family Guy where there's like a joke that they're telling.
No, that's what's funny about King of the Hill is that it's all just incredibly dry and it's just the situation of it all.
And so I think there was some level of the comedy in this where you're
I
saying
would
like
agree.
Himbo Jedi is like is funny because of just kind of how he is, but there wasn't like a joke. There wasn't a whole lot of jokes, period, other than those like prisoner guys.
Yeah.
And what was the one where there was some joke
Oh,
that
look,
didn't
they're waving
land.
to us.
Oh, is there somebody waving over there?
Yeah, they're light signaling to us.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Where?
over on the.
They definitely are
top,
signaling
top,
to us.
over there. They were waving their lights around.
That's really odd.
Really?
I can't tell.
Yeah, they definitely were signaling, but it's possible they were signaling to somebody else on the building.
Over the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a joke that had and I just remember it just like falling completely flat. And it was like a joke at the end of a scene in a cut. It was like, put your lightsaber down or something. Like
Put your
that.
clothes on.
Put your clothes on. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
put your clothes on.
I was like, put your clothes on, and I was like, I feel like there's like a better joke
Silly
somewhere
himbo.
in there. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like it didn't, and not that it's like it's necessary for this show, but it definitely didn't have like the Star Wars humor like just like hitting like it does in like.
I'm really hoping that episode 1 being a favorite of the showrunner.
Yeah.
I hope we get some like EOP fart joke.
Yeah. Right.
Like
Something like that.
just some farts
Some
And that's
farts.
the extent of the jokes in
Stepping in poop.
yes, stepping in poop.
Wiki
Great.
poop.
Very
Or just
funny.
like, or that whole
I just want to
sequence.
see a Gungan. That's all I ask.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm gonna
Or
do.
that whole
That'd be
sequence
nice.
in the Phantom Menace where like people are just like the guy just blows up at the starting line and like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
really serve the
The
scene
comics
much
are-
at all, other than it just makes it funny, you know, randomly.
Yeah.
Like, but that's kind of thing. It's just like unnecessary, but like silly hijinks. You know what I mean? That would be fun.
Or silly sound effects. Same pod race. When the pod racer with the circular thing goes off and it spins off, you get this kind of a thing that they straight up add to it.
That would be fun.
Mhm. There's no droid jokes the way that there often are a lot of scenes where it's like about Star Wars droid humor.
Mhm.
And instead we get like respecting Pip as a person instead of as a
That's right.
whatever,
Oh,
like
boring.
a Pip droid. I feel like that was the vibe.
I felt like it was a bit patronizing.
It could have been, but not like the way that
Yes, not in the ways that it usually does.
yeah, like it didn't count as like droid humor. It was just patronizing humor.
Ah.
And then the droids that
Droid.
were literally seats. Do you think that was like that was very funny?
Yeah, that was a side gag
That
for
was
sure.
funny.
Yeah,
That
for
was-
sure.
There is a Gungan scientist who works for the Graphs, yes, in the High Republic era. I feel like there's something like that going on.
Something like that.
So I hope that
like the
Maybe
graphs
something.
do with the hyperspace routes.
yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff though. I'm into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I want to see 3 more episodes right now.
Yeah, I have to say that I'm not very satisfied with what they released so far. I think I wish that they went Andor with it and released 3 episodes at least. You know,
Mm.
I'm
I'm
happy.
satisfied.
you feel satisfied?
Yeah.
I'm not.
I had a properly sized meal. I don't feel overfed, but
Same.
if I had another one, I
Too
would
many
be a little
Oreos.
bit like,
No
oh,
more
I don't
Oreos.
need to eat that again for a
Yeah.
week.
You know me though. I'm not. I'm so impatient. I can't do it.
You are.
No.
I'm very patient.
So yeah, I mean, so you said there's 8 episodes.
Mhm.
God, can we just get like 15 episodes or 10? At least 10.
We're
Like.
perfectly 20. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
I mean, they
I would like
skipped
more.
they skipped us on
25% of the
a.
show.
I like more episodes
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
I would like a show.
Andor had 12.
Which
Yeah,
is great, and we're gonna get another
So
12.
awesome.
Because essentially, I consider the last 3 episodes of almost any show somewhat like a finale, somewhat like a last
Yeah.
movie, and so that means that ours starts at episode 5. So we get six, 7, 8. So
and they skipped us an episode in,
Yes,
in
right.
Bad Batch.
So we
Because all
basically
the other
have
seasons were
2
16 and
more
this one was
episodes
15.
until it's the finale.
yeah,
They skipped that episode.
exactly. So
And the finale is not going to be released. Like, it's all going to be one episode between
Yeah.
them. So
that'll be
So
painful.
I if Darth Maul is not in the show, I'm gonna.
it's like Darth Maul as just a zygote.
With like horns.
His name will be Maul one day.
This is when he's fertilized.
That would
this
be
is when he's
cute.
fertilized and then put on ice.
But you know what? Like I feel like that planet is so like it's such a matriarchy.
Oh.
It would be like all the women like have like all the male like zygotes like in a
Like
batch.
embryos that
Yeah.
They're in a pool.
they're like
Oh,
growing.
let's incubate that one.
They're
Yeah.
probably in a specific puddle or something because they keep them in caves, like in pools.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so they're
that's
like,
true.
here's the pool. We got
That's so wild.
grab one out.
We're off track now.
I
Man.
think that is that a
I think
good
that's
place
it.
to end
I
it?
think we're done.
Yeah. Okay.
For the recorded
For the
version,
recorded
because we're
version.
not going to edit it.
Go
Right.
Acolyte.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm
Well,
happy
see,
for
how
that.
does the word Acolyte connect? Do we have any
She is
guesses?
the acolyte.
She's
Right?
the
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I don't know if the sound is gonna be